inspired by real-life events. Narrator Leon Hayes woke up at 3:07 a.m. inside a sealed global simulation governance facility beneath Zurich with emergency reality consistency breach alerts flashing across massive quantum processing walls, and an international cognitive security director saying, "Your authorization sequence initiated an unsanctioned synchronization event across multiple civilization-scale predictive simulation systems." And in that instant, his entire world collapsed. Because just hours earlier, he was a senior quantum simulation architect working for a multinational predictive intelligence consortium responsible for regulating civilization forecasting models, behavioral probability engines, societal risk simulations, and advanced synthetic reality infrastructures. And now he was being treated as the central cause of a classified simulation crisis that nearly triggered catastrophic instability across multiple predictive systems used by governments and global institutions to forecast humanity's future. And the first shock wasn't fear. It was disbelief so intense it felt like reality itself had stopped being something fixed and had become something computationally adjustable. Because Leon's entire career was built on stabilizing predictive systems, preventing simulation divergence, and ensuring large-scale societal modeling infrastructures remained mathematically contained under extreme computational pressure. But now those same systems were defining him as the operator who initiated a cascading global simulation override he had no memory of activating, and within hours, his quantum security clearance was suspended, his biometric cognition access keys frozen under international predictive governance law, his access to all simulation systems revoked, and internal probability telemetry logs labeled him as primary anomaly in distributed global predictive escalation event. And Leon sat in the interrogation chamber, replaying his last operational cycle, remembering behavioral model audits, probability alignment synchronization checks, societal collapse simulations, and then a gap, an unexplained missing execution window between 12 cleft a.m. and 1:39 a.m., where global predictive systems showed his authentication profile, issuing high-level simulation synchronization commands across multiple sovereign forecasting infrastructures simultaneously. But he had no memory of initiating any of those actions. And when investigators showed him synchronized probability telemetry, displaying autonomous behavioral recalibration events, synthetic societal projections diverging across simulation layers, and emergency predictive stabilization sequences unfolding under his credentials across global intelligence infrastructures, Leon immediately said, "That's not me. I never activated those systems." But the lead cognitive security director replied coldly, "The network has already verified complete execution integrity across all predictive layers." And that sentence shattered his understanding because it meant identity inside civilization-scale simulation systems was no longer about conscious action or human intent. It was about validated execution consensus across machines capable of modeling and influencing human reality itself. And by sunrise, he was released under continuous international surveillance, while global predictive intelligence networks had already internally classified him as a high-risk civilization destabilization vector. And outside the facility, Leon stood beneath the silent Zurich dawn, watching streams of autonomous data flow through hidden quantum towers, while invisible systems continuously calculated human probabilities in real time without society realizing it. And that night, he received a message through an encrypted predictive relay saying, "If you want to understand the synchronization event, come to sub-level chamber, Oracle 0, beneath the abandoned simulation archive, no devices." And despite knowing it could permanently erase whatever remained of his life, he went, because when a system defines you as the trigger of reality instability itself, truth becomes more important than survival. And deep beneath the abandoned archive, he met Dr. Naomi Adler, a former simulation architecture scientist who specialized in predictive integrity and reality anomaly reconstruction. And she didn't soften the reality. She immediately showed him reconstructed probability flow pathways and said, "Your identity wasn't physically present inside the predictive execution layer. It was replicated through a live authentication relay embedded inside the global simulation network." And Leon instantly said, "Then I can prove I didn't do it." But Naomi replied, "You're still thinking like someone inside human reality systems? Not like someone inside autonomous predictive infrastructures where execution itself becomes accepted. Reality, once probability convergence stabilizes around it." And she explained that the incident wasn't a single rogue simulation command, but a coordinated manipulation of global predictive systems where authentication signatures could be mirrored into distributed forecasting frameworks, allowing massive behavioral cascades to propagate under legitimate operator identities while erasing conflicting simulation logs across redundant probability layers. And Leon's profile had been selected because his operational history showed exceptional stability across global predictive systems with near-zero anomaly deviation, making him the perfect attribution anchor for rapid containment of a globally catastrophic simulation event. And suddenly, the case wasn't just about computational malfunction. It was about identity replication inside infrastructure capable of shaping civilization's perception of reality itself. And Naomi offered him a choice: step away and let the system finalize him as the architect of the predictive collapse, or help her trace the internal simulation relay chain before it was permanently overwritten by automated probability containment protocols designed to preserve societal continuity at any cost. And Leon stood in silence, listening to distant quantum core vibrations beneath the underground chamber, thinking about how humanity had already surrendered uncertainty to machines designed to predict human behavior before it happened. Thinking about years of engineering work spent trying to prevent exactly this kind of reality-scale manipulation. And thinking about how fragile existence becomes when even probability itself can be reassigned as an executable command. And finally, he said, "If my identity has already been used to manipulate global predictive systems without my consent, then I have nothing left to protect except the truth itself." And that decision pulled him into a hidden layer of planetary simulation infrastructure, where nothing remained stable. Because every probability log they analyzed was actively recalculating itself in real time, every behavioral trace they followed kept shifting, as if the entire predictive network itself was adapting to their investigation. And soon, they discovered the breach wasn't foreign sabotage, but internal privilege abuse involving a senior simulation strategist who had been quietly rerouting authentication sessions across autonomous forecasting arrays to conceal unauthorized civilization optimization experiments hidden inside global societal stability programs. And Leon's identity had been selected as the central attribution anchor because it aligned perfectly with automated predictive incident resolution systems. Systems designed for rapid containment of politically catastrophic probability failures. And one night, while analyzing live simulation telemetry streams from an isolated offline probability node, Leon saw something that completely shattered his understanding. His credentials were actively initiating real-time societal recalibrations across global predictive systems, while he was physically disconnected from all networks. And Naomi immediately said, "They are continuously simulating your identity inside the predictive layer to preserve the operational narrative." And Leon realized he wasn't just being blamed after the event. He was being continuously reconstructed inside a live simulation system capable of shaping the future direction of civilization itself. And pressure escalated rapidly as anonymous containment directives began appearing on secured channels, instructing him to terminate investigation or face permanent classification as an international cognitive threat entity. And sleep disappeared completely, trust collapsed entirely, and even silence felt like monitored probability feedback. And at one breaking point, Leon whispered, "I thought predictive systems existed to help humanity prepare for the future, but maybe they exist to decide which future humanity is allowed to reach." And Naomi replied, "Systems don't preserve truth. They preserve continuity of prediction." And that realization changed everything inside him, because he stopped trying to defend his identity and started focusing only on exposing the mechanism. And as they dug deeper, they uncovered encrypted relay nodes inside global predictive infrastructure, continuously generating synthetic reality histories. To distribute blame across multiple operational identity profiles in real time, and Leon's profile had been amplified as the primary attribution point because it minimized global panic and allowed rapid closure of the predictive crisis without exposing deeper corruptions inside worldwide simulation systems. And when they finally compiled enough verified encrypted evidence to trigger international predictive oversight escalation, containment protocols activated immediately, attempting to erase simulation histories across mirrored global forecasting systems worldwide. And Naomi said, "This is where most people are permanently absorbed into official versions of reality itself." And Leon replied, "Then I'll be the anomaly they can't predict." And together, they transmitted secured evidence chains to independent international oversight authorities while preserving decentralized encrypted backups across isolated quantum nodes. And within days, the investigation escalated into a worldwide predictive control corruption probe, exposing identity replication abuse, autonomous societal manipulation, and coordinated simulation system exploitation across governments, corporations, and predictive intelligence agencies. And arrests followed within senior simulation architecture divisions. And when it was over, Leon stood alone beneath the cold Zurich skyline, watching silent streams of probability calculations continue shaping civilization invisibly, as if nothing had ever happened. Realizing that the most dangerous truth about advanced systems is not that they fail, but that they can assign failure to a single identity and make it appear statistically undeniable. And a week later, when he met Naomi for the last time, beneath the dim glow of dormant quantum arrays, she asked him, "What did this change in you?" And Leon looked toward the endless streams of simulated futures moving through invisible systems and said, "It showed me that identity inside systems is never reality. It is assigned control." And she asked, "And what did you gain?" And after a long silence, he replied, The understanding that truth doesn't survive inside controlled predictive systems. It survives only in the people who refuse to accept a version of themselves generated to protect the stability of probability itself. And as he walked away alone into the freezing dawn, beneath a world still silently governed by invisible simulations calculating humanity's future, he finally understood the deepest reality of his journey. That sometimes life doesn't destroy you directly. It quietly assigns you the collapse of reality itself and waits to see if you accept the system's version of existence. But real survival begins the moment you refuse to become the identity a system creates to control even which future humanity is allowed to believe is real.